Who is the female narcissistic abuser? How does she operate? How does she attract, keep, and trap you? Today I'm going to tell you everything. I usually talk about how to understand and please women, but as an exception, today we will talk about how to understand an absolutely unbalanced and toxic woman. I'm creating this material because I know that many of you men have been victims of such women, and it will be useful for you to understand exactly what happened. If it's a past relationship and you're having a hard time recovering, that's completely normal. You need explanations, you need to understand how you got here, and I will explain everything to you. Perhaps you are in such a relationship right now, you feel that something is wrong, but you can't quite understand what it is, and you can't break free. I am here to help you open your eyes and truly realize the mechanisms and dynamics of such relationships. My goal today is not to make diagnoses at all. It must be clearly understood that a perverse narcissist is a person suffering from a certain pathology, namely narcissistic personality disorder. We do not make a diagnosis also because in addition to the pathology itself, which is an integral part of the personality of such women, there are cases when women simply develop behavior typical of a perverse narcissist, and this behavior manifests itself at a specific moment, in a specific context, and with a specific person. I can already anticipate your thoughts. Don't use this as an excuse for her. Don't think that if she behaved that way one moment, she'll be different another. Her toxic behavior was partly provoked by you. Whatever happens, even if she changes and is different with someone else, with you everything will remain the same. Just accept it as a fact. As I've already said, the goal isn't to make a diagnosis, but to understand and break everything down. Therefore, the material will be extensive. If you need to jump to a specific part, you can use the timestamps. However, I would advise following the narrative order, as I've worked on it carefully to ensure everything is logical, understandable, and that you receive all the necessary elements. Also understand this. In this analysis, I focused specifically on women with narcissistic personality disorder. Of course, there are common traits with narcissistic men, but let's be honest, there are gender-dependent characteristics and behaviors. A narcissistic woman will act in specific ways. She will have typically feminine behavioral patterns because she hunts men, as you can imagine. Naturally, there are differences in how men and women do this, although if you have encountered a narcissistic man with narcissistic personality disorder, you will likely notice similarities. One more clarification. Yes, I am focusing on narcissistic women, but primarily in the context of romantic relationships. However, it's important to understand that they remain so in any other relationships as well. That is, your friend can also be a narcissistic pervert or a work colleague. This can affect absolutely all possible types of connections, but here we will agree that I am building my narrative specifically around romantic relationships. Now that we've dealt with that, we can move on to the first part. As the title suggests, and as you've already guessed, the initial problem lies in narcissism, that is, in this girl's ego and self-esteem. She has a huge, gaping, pulsating, and eternally burning wound in the area of self-respect. She has enormous problems and terrifying gaps with this. You might say, many people have wounds, bruised egos, and self-esteem issues. Yes, absolutely. But the peculiarity of a perverse narcissist is that she doesn't consider herself responsible for her traumas and flaws at all. In other words, she sincerely believes that she is a victim. She is in this position and has no intention of leaving it. She has done nothing to deserve what happened to her. And wait, that's not all. Since she is not at fault for anything, she believes that others are to blame for everything. Therefore, it is others who must rectify what she has experienced, atone for their guilt, and compensate for the damage she allegedly suffered, and continues to suffer. And this is where it gets interesting. Being a victim who bears no responsibility for her condition, she will not bother to fill her own gaps. No, she won't do anything about it. Others have to do it. And as you understand, others don't necessarily do it naturally, because it's natural to do it. And as you understand, others don't necessarily do it naturally, because it's perfectly normal to take care of yourself first and then others. Therefore, she will use those around her to give her what she needs, to feed this abyss within her, to fill it as much as possible. And of course, as you can guess, it's a bottomless pit. This woman is a victim, often with delusions of persecution and paranoia. She is in absolute pursuit of recognition and attention from others, constantly, all the time. She needs to be looked at, to be told she's doing well. She needs a huge amount of comfort and support. She desperately needs to be the center of attention. She demands it and feeds on it. The problem here, firstly, is that this need is taken to the extreme, and secondly, that she will use people to get it all. Unfortunately, because she is a person fixated on her own problems, considering herself a victim and the rest of the world executioners, she will have a catastrophically low level of empathy. One could even say that her compassion is an absolute zero. She is incapable of putting herself in your shoes, incapable of understanding you, incapable of accepting your point of view or realizing what you feel. She simply cannot grasp that she is causing pain. She is not aware of it. She understands that she can influence others because she sees the results, but she is completely, absolutely unaware of the harm she causes. And this is very disturbing. This is a person who will destroy her surroundings, use them, drain them to the last drop, without even realizing it. For her, this is normal. It is normal for her to be fed. It is normal for her to receive all this attention. It is par for the course. And here we come to more extreme behavior, to rise above, gain recognition, and be above others. She will crush them. This is not someone who, figuratively speaking, will soar to the top. This is someone who will step over heads to get higher. She will criticize everyone, extensively and without exception. She will constantly belittle other people, including her loved ones, and especially loved ones, by the way. In short, this is a person who can display truly vile traits simply to show off, to be looked at and admired. This is, of course, confusing because if everyone understood the essence of her behavior, no one would appreciate her, and yet she manages to gain favor, and all because she is a master manipulator. She masterfully plays the victim role, the one who manipulates no one for her own goals, the one who doesn't hurt anyone while everyone else hurts her. I think, in broad strokes, you've grasped this archetype: huge trauma, the need to fill it, and a complete abdication of responsibility. She isn't going to do anything about it. She believes it's not her concern at all because she is an absolute victim. By the way, she won't do anything, and she certainly won't engage in self-analysis or question her actions. Agree, everything is frozen. There are very few shades of gray here. For a perverted narcissist, many things are divided only into black and white. The roles, both hers and those of others, are rigidly fixed. Nothing changes, especially within herself. Nothing can and should change. She is not responsible for what happens to her. As a result, we get a person who is completely dependent on others, dependent on the opinions of others, absolutely and entirely. This is a person without any autonomy, who does nothing on their own, does not develop, remains floundering in their own, forgive me, shit. We're among ourselves here, speaking frankly, and waits for others to pull her out of it instead of her. As a consequence, this makes her a completely infantile personality. No independence, no initiative, nothing, because she is 100% victim, completely dependent on others, and yet she will never show this dependence to those around her. On the contrary, she will make them believe that they depend on her. Oh yes, she is incredibly skilled at hiding her need for others, although in reality, without you, she would be nothing. I'll add one more thing that is sometimes very difficult to grasp. From here on out, things will get quite tough, and you'll probably think, no way, how can anyone function like that? But here's what you need to clearly understand. Such people are completely unaware of their behavioral mechanisms. She doesn't understand what's happening at all. This is us, looking from the outside. We are here to analyze, and we see all of this. But the perverse narcissist does not see or hear this. She is a very rigid, inflexible person, so under no circumstances will she reconsider her way of thinking or her worldview. Her view of things is extremely limited. She is in blinkers. She is a victim. And that's that. Therefore, she does not understand. She understands nothing at all. She is completely unaware that she is acting badly. She doesn't even understand that she's using others. She's unaware of all these convoluted and unhealthy tricks she employs to achieve her goals. For her, all of this is normal. It's her normal mode of operation, almost a survival mechanism that has developed against the backdrop of her character, disorders, and deficits, and she is absolutely oblivious to what she's doing, not the slightest glimmer of awareness. This is precisely why people like that are incredibly difficult. Sometimes you want to grab them, shake them properly, and say, "Just open your eyes." But she won't open them. At best, she'll burst into tears and say, "Why are you shaking me like that?" Forgive me, I'm laughing, but only because I know all too well what I'm talking about. I prefer to approach this with humor, but I understand that for you, who are in pain right now, there's no room for laughter. So please forgive me for this and don't take it personally. All of this I say to the point that these are the type of people you can never reach or appeal to their common sense. It is impossible to argue with them. It is impossible to explain anything to them or tell them what you think or how you are experiencing this situation, because she will not understand. She is incapable of putting herself in your shoes, just remember that, and she is incapable of understanding that her actions are bad and abnormal. The only thing we can truly do is put ourselves in her shoes and play by her own rules. This is why understanding all of this is so important. Let's move on to the second part, how a perverted narcissist draws you into her web. After all, she needs to attract victims. As I've already said, she needs you. She needs other people to exist, to feed. In her worldview, it is others who should feed her and heal her wounds. I'm not saying this is how it is, but this is how she sees it. She needs to attract you, and this is where strategy comes into play, where she sets her trap and plays all her trump cards. Firstly, if it helps you get rid of your guilt, understand that she doesn't choose her victims selectively by name. A perverse narcissist has needs, but she doesn't reason like this. I will choose this person and spend energy on molding him into someone who will give me everything I want. No, she uses all her charms to attract everyone who could potentially become her victim. This is precisely why we so often see the same types of people ending up beside them. This is also why it is often said that the favorite prey of a perverse narcissist of any gender is a hypersensitive person. And this is no accident. She didn't decide, okay, I'll go look for hypersensitive people. No, she simply cast her net and pulled up all the fish from the bottom that met her criteria and needs. It's very simple. So she wasn't looking specifically for you. She didn't think, I'll take him and destroy him. She simply cast her nets, and you swam into them yourself. What's interesting about this mechanism is that you will then naturally start blaming yourself, and thus fall into the trap of the decision made. This is the first stage, and others will follow. The first trap of a solution. You approached it yourself. You were drawn to it. And immediately after this, the attachment mechanism or the freezing effect kicks in. You think, well, yes, I approached it myself. I made the decision. I am responsible for it and will see it through. Since I took this step, there must have been a reason for it. Do you understand? You've already fallen slightly into the trap. And now, for the trump cards she'll use to attract you. Attention. No generalizations. Agreed? This woman will be very different from the rest. You'll notice her immediately. She's not like everyone else. You don't understand yet if this is for better or worse, but she definitely stands out. Perhaps you find her much more attractive, more seductive, and it's not surprising, because a woman knows men's pain points. She can be much more uninhibited in her body, perhaps even overtly sexual in her behavior, very confident, in a mode of total seduction. Look at me. Don't forget, this is how she feeds. In general, there's some spark to her, but at the same time, you pick up a hint of madness or hidden fragility. In short, you are drawn to this character, mysterious and at the same time incredibly sexy. Subsequently, the perverted narcissistic woman turns into a true chameleon. To tie you to herself, she will emphasize or simulate precisely those qualities that you personally like in order to charm you even more. If she senses that you react strongly to some specific character trait, she will focus on it or simply imitate it. Most often, because she is a chameleon and essentially has no deep personality of her own, she will simply pretend. She will be an empty shell, a fake. She will appropriate others' qualities, but understand, at this moment, she is playing a role. Her goal is to please as many people as possible. Therefore, she observes what generally attracts men and adopts those characteristics. Because of this, the perverted narcissist often appears as a cliché, a woman too good to be true, and then her behavior will become more targeted depending on whether only you or someone else has taken the bait. As I've already said, you might have noticed some hidden vulnerability in her, and indeed, very soon she will show you that she is a woman with a broken spirit, a fragile, innocent woman who needs a savior, a hero, a man to protect her, and you, as men, very often like to try on this role for yourselves, and that does you credit. However, in this particular case, you've gotten involved with the wrong person. She presses the right button, and you think, wow, she opened up to me. She trusted me. I'm probably the only one she dared to tell about her wounds. This touches me so much. I really want to help her. And this is exactly where the trap begins to spring shut. Seeing her fragility, you yourself decide to protect her. I was talking about decision traps. This is trap number 2. You make this decision and then, striving to be consistent, again, the anchoring effect, you will stick to your initial choice. She needs me. I decided to help her. I will see it through. And what reinforces your choice, what makes you think, I did everything right, is that she will look at you with adoration in her eyes. She will look at you as if you are truly her savior, her hero. She will thank you endlessly. You are perfect. You are a true protector. She will emphasize and elevate this side of you in every way. You will feel wonderful. You will think, great, I made the right choice. Moreover, she is also grateful. That is, she is not some bitch who only takes and gives nothing in return because she is so appreciative. But this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. And when all of this is already in place, the trap snaps shut. The trap snaps shut. You are with her. You are already involved in a relationship. She knows you're hooked. I remind you about decision traps. There were at least 2 of them already. You are here. You chose her of your own free will. At least, that's what you think, although in reality she skillfully manipulated you to get to this point. That's what you think, and you sincerely want to help her, because this girl is very pleasant. You convince yourself that you couldn't have made a mistake. What will she do next? First, she will make herself indispensable in your life. She will take up a lot of space. Just the help and support alone drain a lot of your energy. Then, since you tend to make love a lot, and that's her number 1 deadly weapon, she inevitably takes over your thoughts as well. You think about her often. You want to see her often. You want to spend a lot of time with her. And she also tries to become indispensable, tries to become the one and only for you. By the way, little by little, she will start to distance you from other people. At first, you will do this yourself, of your own free will, and then you will notice that she starts to show jealousy. She will start criticizing your friends, criticizing your loved ones, portraying them in a bad light. Perhaps she will even say that they are toxic and using you to turn you against her. Or she will simply put on a sad puppy dog look so that instead of a party with friends, you stay with her because she is sad and really needs your presence. However, step by step, as she takes a firm place in your life, she will start to put you on an emotional roller coaster, making you experience truly strong sensations. You will simply stop understanding what is happening. In other words, she will pretend to slip away from you so that you hold on to her. Yes, do you see how the mechanism is taking shape? She forces you to live through a storm of emotions. She returns, she leaves, she returns, she leaves. But each time it is you who decides to keep her, and it is you who once again takes on the role she has assigned you. By the way, yes, it was she who assigned it to you. It is you who agrees to the terms of the contract each time. It is you who each time says, "No, stay. I am here for you, to help you, to save you," and so on. Do you see how sophisticated it all is? The point of these emotional roller coasters, besides making you make decisions and trapping you deeper and deeper, is that our brain essentially doesn't care whether emotions are positive or negative. Honestly, it doesn't really see a difference. All it registers is that you're experiencing something, you feel alive, and most importantly, it gets etched into memory. Something is happening. You're not bored. In the end, you lose the ability to distinguish strong emotions from positive ones. You simply see that you are constantly experiencing something with this girl. Confusion arises, and it is at this stage that the trap continues to spring shut. You are completely confused and don't know what to expect from a girl who either comes and gives you everything you desire, making you happier than ever, or leaves saying, "I will make you unhappy," forcing you to make the decision so that you yourself leave her. Do you understand what's happening? She leaves her mark on you. She takes over all your thoughts. Nothing remains but her. Everything revolves around her. And at the same time, you start blaming yourself for everything that happens. You think, "I must be doing something wrong." And the narcissistic pervert is also very good at this. She will make you believe that if she wants to leave, it's only because of you. This is what else the perverse narcissist is strong at. She will make you believe that if she wants to leave, it's only because you are not strong enough to help her. She starts to reproach you for not being a good enough savior. But it was she who forced you to become one, no one else. You start blaming yourself for not being good enough for her, and because of this you want to try even harder. You don't tell anyone about this, as you have already started to distance yourself from loved ones and feel guilty. In front of others, you will start to notice how she belittles you. Even when you are not around, she will complain to others about your relationship. She will present everything as if all the problems are solely your fault. She will say that you are the one who cannot understand her, do not understand what she wants, and are incapable of supporting her. In her stories, you will be blamed for everything. But of course, when you appear with her in public together, she will be an angel. She will be charming with you. You will seem like a perfect couple, and she will praise you. And that's how she will create even more confusion in your head. In public, the picture is perfect, but as soon as you get home, the real nightmare begins. A displeased face, scandals, and endless reproaches. Literally 10 minutes ago, she was smiling from ear to ear on the street and was on cloud 9. You were the perfect man, and at home, you suddenly became a monster. In the beginning, she praised you for playing the hero and was immensely grateful. Now, she will start getting angry at you for taking on that role, claiming she never asked you to. She will even start demeaning you, calling you not a protector, but simply a lackey. She completely turns the roles upside down. At some point, you stop understanding anything, as if she's speaking another language. She herself asked you to do something, you put effort into it, and now she's blaming you for it. She suddenly declares that she needs a strong man who will put her in her place, and this description is absolutely not about you. Absolute chaos ensues in your head. What else can you do in such a situation? It simply drives you crazy. At some point, your pride awakens, or remnants of common sense tell you that you can't live like this. She constantly provokes you. Sometimes she says white, sometimes black, sometimes she's charming, sometimes absolutely unbearable. Sooner or later, you will naturally want to break down. And the worst part begins when you try to indignantly protest. You try to appeal to her reason and point out that something is wrong. But remember, she is completely unaware of this and will not accept any rational arguments. While you are simply trying to explain everything and maintain your dignity, she will bury you even deeper. She will either make you feel even more guilty or switch back to victim mode. She might even cry to make you feel like a complete monster. She'll say you treat her terribly and that she doesn't deserve it. In the end, you get angry, but she convinces you that you have no right to be. She'll prove that your anger only makes her even more miserable. You find yourself in a never-ending vicious cycle. In the end, she will make you believe that the problem is with you. She will mess with your head so much that you will sincerely believe it yourself. She will convince you that if anyone is toxic in this relationship, it is exclusively you. In her worldview, she is the innocent victim, and the main villain here is you. And you, having snapped once out of losing patience, now endlessly blame yourself. You torment yourself over this outburst, even though she flagrantly violated all boundaries from the very beginning. It was normal for her to drain you completely, and she never once felt guilty. You, however, lost your temper only once because she provoked you, but you remain the one at fault. She achieves such a level of influence that you start to consider yourself abnormal. And if you are convinced that you ruin everything, will you find the courage to ask for help from your loved ones? No, you won't do that because you feel guilty, and that's where its main strength lies. I'll say more. Those who don't get angry and don't try to resist risk gradually falling into the deepest depression. This is a logical alarm signal from your body, which can no longer cope. You are exhausted by endless emotional roller coasters. You have no self-respect left, and there's no one around. And yet, you firmly believe that you are solely to blame for this entire situation. After all, you got yourselves into this willingly, or at least it seems that way to you. But don't forget, you were manipulated into making those decisions. At the time, you didn't have the full picture. Yes, you made the decisions, but you have every right to reconsider them. No one is stopping you from changing your mind. In short, you are tired, you are broken, you no longer have the strength to take care of her. It would seem the least she could do is take care of you in return. You've been carrying her for who knows how long, so it's logical to expect help from her. But no, the perverse narcissist will drown you even deeper. You're feeling bad, you have depression, that's entirely your fault. Just take responsibility, as she will say. You're feeling bad? Listen. That's not her problem. The only thing she will see is that you no longer have the energy to serve her needs. And then she will start to turn away from you while trying to crush you as hard as possible, to drown you completely. And here, perhaps, lies your chance for salvation. If she realizes that there is nothing more to take from you, she will leave on her own. And then you will finally be able to breathe a sigh of relief. The main thing is not to run after her under any circumstances. Let's move on to the final part of our long conversation about what to do next with this relationship. As I've already said, the best way is, firstly, to open your eyes to what's happening and stop playing by her rules. Secondly, you need to find the strength within yourself to either let her go if she has lost interest in you herself, or to leave yourself unconditionally without giving her a chance for explanations. Don't forget, she will be very, very convincing. Why? Because she genuinely believes in her version of reality. She sincerely considers herself a victim, and you, a complete nobody. And because she is convinced of this, her words will sound extremely plausible. Don't give her that chance. Don't let her mess with your head again and turn everything inside out. No, you are not here to debate with her. You are here to cut all ties. Period. No explanations. In many cases, at first, it will be a matter of principle for her to get you back. Why? Because by trying to get you back, she will again give you a little of what you were hoping for and haven't received for a long time. That is, she will show interest in you, and you might fall for it and think, well, maybe I was wrong, maybe it really was partly my fault. What if I had done this or that? And you give her a chance, and then it all starts over. So yes, for her it's a challenge to win you back and make you change your mind again. Don't give in, be firm. If you've realized the toxicity of your relationship, don't give her a chance to explain or apologize, because it's all fake, it's all worthless. Save yourself, leave, and burn the bridges. Definitely. The next step is to open up to the world and other people, and perhaps talk about your situation. I understand you're a man, and your wounded ego is speaking. Damn, how could I have gotten myself into this? How did I let this happen to me? I understand. You made a mistake, or what feels like a mistake, a wrong step on your path. Well, you need to acknowledge and accept it. Yes, it's never pleasant to realize you've been conned and fooled. But unfortunately, remember that this happens to a huge number of people, and understand one more important thing. Even if you regret your decisions now, at that moment you made them based on the information you had. You wouldn't have acted differently anyway, because at that moment it seemed like the best choice based on the available data. And herein lies the main strength of the perverse narcissist. As I've already explained, she lures you into a trap by pushing you towards decisions, so that you later feel responsible for them, so that you strive to be consistent and stick to your choices. That's how she catches you. But the truth is, if you made a decision in the past, you are not obligated to follow it your entire life. It seemed logical and right then, but now, in the long run, you see that it's not working. You have every right to abandon it. Nothing is holding you back. You are not tied hand and foot. You haven't signed any contracts, and you are absolutely not obligated to baby an infantile and dependent girl. There's no need to blame yourself. There's no need to replay this movie over and over in your head. You did what you did, based on what you knew at the time. That's all. If you took a wrong turn once, it doesn't mean you can't change your route later. There's no shame in being deceived. Everyone has been deceived at some point. It's not the end of the world. You came out of it with wounds, and you'll need time to recover. But now, this can become your strength in the future. This experience opened your eyes to your own vulnerabilities, which she managed to exploit. Now all that's left is to recover so that you never fall victim to something like this again. I know how hard it is to admit all of this. I know how difficult it is to tell yourself all of this right now. But you must understand, I am telling you all these things, all these unpleasant truths, solely for your own good, because it is very important to understand what is happening, to understand what exactly happened to you. Yes, of course you made choices, and at some point you were responsible for them. But above all, you were manipulated by an unhealthy person who simply wanted to use you. You should absolutely not be ashamed of your wonderful qualities that were exploited by a person with bad intentions. If you are a protector by nature, if you are altruistic, kind, and generous, do not be ashamed of it. Do not regret being this way, and do not hide these qualities from other people you will interact with in the future. Just be more attentive from now on to those who try to take advantage of them. That's all. These qualities are wonderful. They are part of you, part of your personality. Don't regret them. On the contrary, be proud of them. That's all from me. I hope this breakdown was helpful. I won't bore you any longer. I don't even know if you're still reading this, or if you're already tired, so I'll take my leave now. See you soon. Take care, and until next time.